Hi, I'm David Partika, and I created CSS Burner as a rapid optimization tool for CSS. The statistical analysis function is on the top nav menu, as you probably know by now, but I believe it's underutilized. I wanted to show you today how you can apply one of the functions within the analysis to your advantage to help you better understand your style sheet, or perhaps give you some insight as far as how you've coded the style sheet and maybe some changes or updates you might make based on the data that you see. So we have a large style sheet of 769 kilobytes roughly that's already pasted into the text area. So let's click on the analysis button, and today let's take a look at the Pseudoclasses statistical analysis counter. Analyze this, and let's see how we can use this data to our advantage. So we get our series of bar graphs here. See 8 properties, and we mouse over each one. By far, the highest number of occurrences is for hover, which is pretty common. It's one of the older pseudo classes that CSS has to offer. It's one of the action pseudo classes, which is used in conjunction with links to define link behavior and help optimize the UX. So here's what I see looking at this data. A couple things. Clearly, link behavior is important in this style sheet because we see visited is present 103 times, hover, as I said, 611 times, active 54 times. Now, in addition to that, I see that there's some importance given to the behavior of input elements. See here the focus pseudo class is present 16 times, and then finally we have, rounding this out, we have first child, last child, and nth child, and we have some use of the not pseudo class. And this is what I would say looking at this. I feel like many of the useful CSS3 pseudo classes which could be used are clearly not being used to any great extent in this style sheet. One that's jumping out at me is clearly input elements and how they're handled means something to the authors of this style sheet and to this application, or else focus wouldn't be one of the top hits in this very large style sheet, and it's focus behavior. But you notice how there's no significant usage because the least is not with 7. There's 16 occurrences of focus, but there's no occurrences that can be seen here of focus within. I find focus within to be very useful for forms and helping to really get forms to stand out once you focus on one of the input elements within the form. I also feel like for validation purposes, the use of the valid pseudo class and perhaps even the invalid pseudo class or required pseudo class might be useful here, but you see no occurrences within the top 8 hits for this, and this is the utility of the statistical analysis. It begins to get your mind thinking in a different way, particularly the authors of the style sheet. Why do I not have certain, whatever you scanned, in this case pseudo classes, why do I not have many occurrences of pseudo classes X, Y, and Z, but I do have so many of another one? Now, it might be reliance in this case, it could be that link behavior is so overwhelmingly important, but it also could be that the authors really haven't taken a serious look at some CSS3 pseudo classes. So that's one possibility, as well. So this is how I like to use the statistical analysis tool, just getting me thinking and analyzing my own style sheets and what I can now do to enhance the UX. So that connection to the UX, the statistical data with the UX, that connection that only the authors really know and that they can answer, as far as why are there glaring omissions, or why are there certain clear biases in favor of one kind of element or property, etc. So try out this functionality in the statistical analysis, and I guarantee you it can get you thinking about your style sheet, especially if UX is important. It can get you thinking about your UX in other ways, or in ways that you haven't, and it can help you start to think about improving the UX and the UI, which the end user will encounter. So if you like this video, please thumbs up, and you haven't subscribed to the Optimized CSS channel already, please do so, and I hope you found this video useful. More to come in the future.